Have you ever walked into a furniture shop and found yourself reaching out to touch something before you've even thought about it? You see a piece as you're passing by, and somehow before you know it, your hand is already moving towards it. Designers call it affordance, the way a door handle says grip me before you even thought about it. With furniture, it works the same way, but with wood, it goes deeper than that. A pull towards something you can actually feel, nearly a haptic pull. In this video, I want to explore that and see if we can build a piece that actually evokes that feeling. This is spalted beech. Those dark lines are made up by a fungi that's growing through the wood as it dries. No two pieces are ever the same. Maybe it's the complexity of the piece that draws us in. And walnut, deep, rich, warm, the kind of wood that draws you in without trying. When I design a piece like this, I'm not just thinking about how it looks, I'm thinking about how it asks to be touched. The edge, for example, if it's too sharp, it pushes you away. Too rounded, feels soft, almost passive. But somewhere in between, there's an edge that says, run your hand along me. Proportion matters too. Table that feels too heavy feels untouchable. Too light feels fragile. What you're watching me do here is trying to match up the grain to look as natural as possible when it's in its finished form, which is what this shape represents. What you see me doing here is just marking in the distance from the edge so the dominoes won't be on show. And now I'm just laying out the positions for the dominoes. Okay, let's jump across to the legs. So what you see me doing here is just cutting off the excess from the plank of walnut for the legs. There's a moment in every build when the wood starts to change, not just how it looks, but how it feels. As I plane this down, the surface goes from rough and distant to smooth and inviting. I start to wonder, at what point does the wood stop being a material and start being something you want to connect with? Is it when the grain opens up? Is it when it becomes silky under your palm? Or is it earlier, when you first imagine what it could become? Look at the grain on that walnut. I love working with it. It's one of those woods that just behaves itself. What you see me doing here is laying out the leg shape on the walnut using a 3D printed template. I've got the 3D printer to do this. A lot of people say it's too slow, but in fact, when I was designing the table, I was able to print the templates and have it all ready to go before I even had the timber in the shop. So it does save a bit of time. It's also quite accurate, which is great. Jumping back to the tabletop for now. So here you see me using the Festool domino joiner to cut the mortises for the dominoes. I like to glue in the dominoes before doing the final glue, but I feel like it helps the whole process go a lot smoother. Here I'm just marking out the notches that I'm going to cut in the top here to allow for the clamp to be applied. As you can see, clamping it up like this makes so much more sense than trying to cut the round and then clamp it up afterwards. So when I trace the template, I used quite a thick pen, and what I'm trying to do here is just follow that line as close as I can without actually crossing over it. What I should have done here was cut along the line with the panel saw at this point, because it would have left it nice and clean, whereas I left a bit of excess that could be cleaned up with the router afterwards. Rounding these legs slightly, not just for the aesthetics, but because the soft curve invites the hand to wrap around it. There's a hard square leg feels structural. A rounded one feels more friendly, maybe. Maybe that's part of it. You can touch what feels approachable. Yeah, that just happened. I'm going to let the real-time version of me explain this. Okay, so bearing fell off, the guide bearing fell off the top of my round over bit, and the bit dug in to the piece, which is unfortunate. I have a couple of options to fix it. I could take it over to the table saw and take a chamfered cut off both sides, leave the top part at a kind of a, I don't know if you call it kind of a diagonal or a diamond shape. Some of these are bigger than the round over that I had, so that could in theory get down far enough that it would actually cover up that mistake. Let's see, I guess, how we go with this and what sort of round over it gives us. I might try do this just on the front edge, maybe the bigger round over, and leave the smaller round over on the back edge. But first, let's see if it covers up this mistake. Okay, so there is still a noticeable gap there. If I think I'm gonna have to chamfer it. Okay, overall, pretty happy with the way these turned out. The chamfer is actually quite nice on it, I think. It gives that extra detail, especially when the light hits it. You get a shadow across here, subtle light along here, and a nice bright piece up along the chamfer. Here's the thing, that chamfer is now one of the most satisfying details on the whole piece. It catches the light differently. When you run your thumb along it, there's a subtle transition that your hand just wants to find over and over again. The mistake didn't weaken the piece, it gave it something to say. So what you've been watching me doing here is cutting the tabletop into its round shape and giving the top edge that same round over that was on the legs. This is a 3D printed parallel guide for 30-degree chamfer, and it's by fellow Woodwork on Bamboo Studios, and I'll leave a link for it in the description. As you can see, that parallel guide works quite well. It's pretty simple to use, and the router doesn't seem to slip too much. Just a quick touch up with the block plane just to remove any of the router marks, and it's pretty much done. For sanding this piece, I started off with 100 grit sandpaper and I sanded everything, and then I popped the grain with some water, let that dry off, and resanded with 240 grit. I find popping the grain is kind of a necessity on something that's going to potentially hold cups and have the odd spill. I'll jump back to the legs now and complete that middle piece that'll join all four of them together. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. So after all my botched efforts at gluing this piece together, I went back to the first approach, but just used longer, I guess, offcuts, and clamped them to the legs to stop them sliding up, which was causing the racking that was opening joints. So this seems to have worked pretty well. The first joint was sealed using the Moxon vise, but the second one, I don't know if you can get close enough there, but we had a bit of squeeze out and the joint seems to be closed the whole way around, so I think we're doing good. I'm going to let this cure for 24 hours and then I'm going to try and do the other two legs and see how they come out. Don't worry, I'm not going to show all the hours of sanding that went into these legs, but believe me, there were many hours. This is the moment where the wood wakes up. The finish doesn't just protect, it transforms the feel. I'm using Osmo Poly-X hard wax oil because it soaks in rather than sitting on top. It lets the wood breathe, lets you feel the wood, not the coating. Film finish would make it perfect, but also distant. This makes you want to touch it even more. Maybe that's why some people feel disconnected from epoxy river tables. Don't get me wrong, they can be stunning to look at, but that glass-like surface It doesn't have the same haptic pull. Epoxy is cool to the touch, smooth, yes, but uniform, lifeless. It doesn't warm under your palm the way wood does. It doesn't breed, it doesn't invite, it displays. Maybe that's the difference. One asks to be admired from afar, the other asks to be touched. And there's something else, something deeper still. Studies have shown that touching real wood actually calms the brain. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, quieting activity in the prefrontal cortex and lowering stress. So touching wood doesn't just feel good, it literally makes you more relaxed. So maybe that urge to reach out isn't just curiosity, maybe it's instinct, a quiet biological pull towards something that helps us feel grounded, calm, human. I'm not going to do some grand reveal. This video isn't about the piece, it's about the feeling. So, did we create that feeling? Looking at it now, yeah, I feel it. That pull, the grain, the edge, the warmth, it all comes together. It doesn't just sit there, it invites. But maybe the allure of wood isn't something you can build directly. Maybe it's something you invite. True care, true attention, true respect for the material. Some pieces make you pause, they make you reach out. Maybe that's the highest compliment a piece of furniture can earn. Not just to be seen, but to be felt. So go out there, touch some wood.